So this video is going to be about ADHD, fact versus myth. It's a little different than my regular videos in the sense that I'm specifically focusing on one particular disability, and that disability is ADHD. So if you want to learn more about that and what that is and what is true about it and what is not, then keep watching. So I wanted to do this video because honestly, at least at my schools, a lot of the kids get services for OHI, which stands for Other Health Impairment. And when we do that at our school, it is almost always, like I think since I've been working there, it's always related to ADHD. So let me explain what ADHD is. It stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. So a good way to explain this is it involves patterns of someone being hyperactive, not being able to pay attention. They might move a lot or be super impulsive and just kind of do things without thinking first. Okay, so that's some of the symptoms that you might see with ADHD. With the inattention piece, that is the first part of it, the AD, attention deficit, and then the hyperactivity. And the hyperactivity disorder part of it is that kind of, they can't sit still. And as a little kid, that could be that they're running around and moving physically, but it could also be like you can't sit still, you're fidgeting with your hands, you're tapping your leg, you spin all the time in your chair. All of those things will count. So let's just get right into it. I'm gonna say a couple things and I will tell you if that is true or not. The first thing, and also I'm going to relate it back to school psychology, so the first one kind of goes along with that, and it is a child must be diagnosed with ADHD to receive special education services for ADHD. This is false, not true. So you can get services for ADHD. Remember I said I have a lot of kids that are getting services for OHI, which stands for Other Health Impairment, under the category of attention deficit. Most of the time, the kids do actually have an outside diagnosis and they've been evaluated by a psychiatrist, but not always the case, and it doesn't have to be the case. When we are giving special education services for any kid, they don't have to be diagnosed with something. It's what do we see in the school? What do we see happening, and is it affecting their education? The same goes for vice versa. If they do have an outside diagnosis of something, that does not automatically mean they need to have services for it in school, because if they are functioning fine, let's say a student has ADHD and they are medicated and they are seeing a therapist or whatever they are doing and it is helping them and they are succeeding in school, getting A's and B's, and their ADHD seems to be managed, then we would not qualify a kid like that for special education services. The second thing, people with ADHD are lazy. That is a myth. Not true, not true. ADHD is an issue they have with their executive functioning. Executive functioning happens in the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of that frontal lobe up here. You know what that is in charge of? This is the area that's involved in organization, planning, self-control, carrying out multi-step directions, things like that. So while it may appear that someone that has ADHD is lazy, that is not the case. I mean, they could also be a lazy person, but having ADHD does not make you lazy. They literally have a problem with that part of their brain, which makes it hard to organize. It makes it hard for them to do something that is multiple steps at a time while you might be able to. It is affecting that area of the brain, but with supports in place, this could be managed. The third thing, sometimes other conditions are present with ADHD. This is true. This is true. It's not always the case, but other diagnoses could be comorbid with ADHD. This can include things such as anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, and autism. And it could be up to 50 to about 60% of kids that have ADHD will also have another diagnosis comorbid with that. Now, that does not mean that if you have ADHD, you're automatically going to also have anxiety, depression, autism. No, but it is not impossible, and it happens more often than you would think. The fourth thing, ADHD affects both boys and girls. This is a fact. A lot of the time, girls are often underdiagnosed because they tend to present the symptoms differently than boys. Usually for girls, it's less on the hyperactivity and more on the inattention. But let's say you're in a school, you're in a classroom, there's a boy that keeps moving around, touching things and just all over the place. You'll see that, you're like, oh my gosh, hyperactive. Everyone sees it, doctor sees it, parents sees it, school sees it. They're more likely to get diagnosed with ADHD. Meanwhile, there might be a girl right next to him that also has ADHD, but just doesn't have the hyperactive piece, but is watching the teacher and just can't pay attention. Mind is wandering all over. Can't follow these multi-step directions. But because the kid is sitting there, not moving around, not causing a problem or a disturbance, that kid could be overlooked. And they might not ever get diagnosed or realize way later, like, oh, there was something wrong with me. This isn't normal. And no one ever checked it out. Now, again, that's not the case for every boy and girl. It's just, this is what happens a lot. And that is why oftentimes girls are underdiagnosed. But that does not mean you can't have a girl that is hyperactive in the school and has ADHD. And that does not mean that you can't have a boy that is more inattentive than the hyperactivity in the school that has ADHD. The last one I'm gonna say is ADHD is a modern issue that is overdiagnosed and not real. This is false. It's a myth. A myth. ADHD is not caused by screens. It's not caused by these modern times. It might seem easier to see the symptoms currently in our society because of how it's run, but this is not a new disorder. It also may be misdiagnosed sometimes as something else. For example, like we were just talking about how girls go underdiagnosed and they might think this inattention or whatever problems they are having is due to something else, and they might overlook them. So that happens sometimes too. Kids are misdiagnosed when they actually have ADHD. But you can see differences in MRIs that have been done with people that have ADHD. Also, they may have lower dopamine levels, and this could mean that they are going to struggle more when a reward isn't given immediately. So sometimes people with ADHD, they actually, a lot of the time, they want that reward right now. They want that feel-good feeling that we get. Like, for example, for me, if I check something off the list, I get that feeling like I accomplished something, and that is giving me that dopamine hit, right? But if someone with ADHD tends to have lower dopamine levels, they're going to need more of it. So they want more of those rewards, and they want them faster, and they want them all the time, and they want it immediately. So those are just some of the differences that you can see with people that have ADHD. It is not fake. It is a real condition. So just so you know. I know this video probably was a little short. I feel like I say that all the time, but I feel like this video was kind of short. I wanted to get right to the point because I had a very specific mission, and that mission was to tell you about facts and myths about ADHD, because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, and it's a really, I feel like, well-known disability nowadays, and there's a lot of talk of this is true and this isn't, and obviously I did not go over all of them. We could do videos and videos upon videos of fact versus myth for ADHD. This is just a little bit of some of the things that I hear people say, and I just want to kind of clear that up. So I hope that you found this helpful. I thank you so much for watching. If you have any more, leave that down below. Any video ideas or any myths / facts about ADHD, that'd be cool, because like I said, I definitely didn't go over nearly all of them at all. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all the time. I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye guys.